Hello students, welcome to the classes of statistics. This is Shubhada. Earlier, we were learning concepts under the first chapter, Vital Statistics. But for the upcoming online classes, we are opting for second chapter, Index Numbers. This is session 1. For final examination, we can expect questions for 26 marks from this chapter. Together, there will be 7 questions, of which 2 questions will be of 1 mark, 2 questions will be of 2 marks, 2 questions will be of 5 marks, and 1 question will be of 10 marks. Now, let us get introduced to the concept called index numbers. In our day-to-day life, we come across a lot of information and facts through newspapers, magazines, and other related sources. For example, the price of a commodity like gold on a particular day, the volume of agricultural produce like rice in a particular year, the volume of industrial production of steel in a month, the volume of imports or exports of electronic equipments in a year, sales and profit figures of a business, wages of workers, and so on. All these facts with related details can be converted into useful information by further statistical analysis using different statistical devices. One such statistical device is called index number. Now, we try to learn what are these index numbers, what are their uses, how to construct them, and how to utilize them. To start with, let us know why index numbers are called economic barometers. We are all aware of the term barometer. Barometer is a device which measures the atmospheric pressure, means it indicates the variations in the atmospheric pressure. Similarly, index numbers measure the pulse of an economy. What is the meaning of the term pulse of an economy? It is the variations happening in the economic conditions of a country. Let us consider an example. Assume that we are interested to study the price variation of a commodity. In that case, let in this diagram x-axis represents time and y-axis represents price, as shown here. This chart indicates whether price of that commodity is going up or down, or is it consistent over a period of time. In other words, this indicates the variations happening in the price of the commodity over a period of time. Such study of variations in the economic conditions of a country is measured through these index numbers. Now, I conclude saying, just as barometers measure the atmospheric pressure, index numbers measure the variations in the economic conditions of a country. Hence, they are called economic barometers. Next stage is the definition of index number. Here is the definition. Index numbers are statistical devices designed to measure the relative changes in the level of a phenomenon with respect to time, geographical location, or other characteristics such as income, profession, etc. Let us first know the meaning of the terms which are not much familiar, and later we try to connect them all to get the essence of this definition. Here, the term phenomenon means a single variable or group of variables. For better understanding, let us take an example. Index number related to price of rice. Here, rice is the item and price is the phenomenon, means the single variable. Instead, if we consider many items and their prices, those prices together make a group of variables. Now let us go back to the example. Index number related to price of rice. Keeping this example in mind, let us go back to the definition. Index numbers are statistical devices designed to measure the relative changes in the level of price of rice with respect to time. It means whether price of rice got increased over the time or decreased or remained constant over the time. Such analysis can be done using index number. Such an indicator which measures the level of a phenomenon is called an index number. Now we are left with few more terms in the definition. They mean together as follows. Like an index number is constructed with respect to time, similarly index numbers can be constructed to compare economic conditions of different geographical locations or can be done for a group of people of particular income group or a particular profession, etc. That completes the definition of index number, and the graph shown here helps to understand the same. Now, here are some familiar examples of index numbers. The first one, Sensex. Sensex is an index that indicates the relative prices of shares on the Bombay Stock Exchange. It represents the increase or decrease in the prices of stocks of companies that it comprises. Another similar index is Nifty. Second example, Cost of Living Index. Here, the term index is short form of index number. Cost of living index tells us the change in the cost of living of a particular group of people. The third example, happiness index, though not much familiar but definitely interesting. It indicates the level of happiness of citizens of a country. Now coming to the history of index numbers. Historically, the first index was constructed in 1764 to compare the price level in 1750 with the price level in 1500 in Italy. This index was constructed for the year 1750. Therefore, the year 1750 is called current year. And this year was compared with the year 1500. Therefore, the year 1500 is called base year. Here, time is represented by year and two different years are taken for comparison. Similarly, time may be year, month, week, day, etc. Next stage is to learn some basic terms and notations. First one, meaning of current period. The period for which comparisons are required is called current period. It is denoted by 1. In the earlier example, year 1750 was the current year, means current period. Second term, base period. The period selected for comparison is called base period. It is denoted by 0. In the earlier example, year 1500 was the base year, means base period. Third term, price, represented by P. small letter p. Next term, quantity represented by small letter q. Here, quantity means volume of goods either produced or manufactured or distributed or consumed. The next one, value. It is the product of price and quantity. It is represented by small letter v and it is equal to the product of p and q. Once again, we had to remember this point. Time period may be year, month, week, day, etc. With this knowledge, let us assign notations for few more terms. Here they are. Current year price denoted by P1. Here, price is denoted by P and current year is represented by 1. Therefore, current year price is denoted as P1. Here, P is the small letter and 1 is written at the base. Similarly, base year price is denoted by P0, current year quantity denoted by Q1, base year quantity Q0, current year value presented by V1 is equal to P1 into Q1 because we are aware that value is the product of price and quantity. That is, V is P into Q. Therefore, V1 is equal to P1 into Q1. And base year value is V0, which is equal to P0 into Q0. Now, it is time to know the types of index numbers. They are 2 in number, simple index number and composite index number. This classification is done on the basis of number of items considered in the construction of index number. In case of simple index number, only one item is considered, hence it is called simple index number. If many items are considered and studied together, then it is composite index number. The next stage is to learn their definition. Simple index number. Definition: when the variation in the level of a single item is being studied, the index number is called simple index number or univariate index number. Example: index number indicating the variation in the price of wheat. Here, only one item, that is wheat, is considered and hence it is an example of simple index number. Another example is index number indicating the variation in the price of cotton, and again cotton is the only single item under study. Composite index number. Definition: when the variation in the level of a number of items being studied collectively, index number is called composite index number. Example: index number indicating variation in prices of cereals like rice, ragi, wheat, etc. are studied collectively. Another example: cost of living index, which includes many items like food, rent, clothing, fuel, etc. Now, here is the next stage: relative measures. Definition of the term relative. When a single variable is considered, the index number is called relative. It is a simple index number. There are three types: price relative, quantity relative, and value relative. If price is the only variable, then the corresponding index number is called price relative. Similarly, if quantity is the only variable considered in the construction of an index number, then it is called quantity relative. In case of value relative, if only a single value is considered, then it is called value relative. These are all simple index numbers. Then let us learn their definitions. Price relative. It is the ratio of the price in the current year expressed as the percentage of the price in the base year. It is represented with this price relative represented by capital P is equal to current year price divided by base year price multiplied 100. In notation form, capital P means price relative is equal to P1 by P0 into 100. Then comes quantity relative. Definition: it is the ratio of quantity of commodity in the current year expressed as the percentage of the quantity in the base year. Here, in notation form, quantity relative is represented with capital Q, which is equal to Q1 by Q0 into 100. Q1 and Q0 are small letters. Value relative. The definition: value relative is the ratio of value of commodity in the current year expressed as the percentage of the value in the base year. And the formula is value relative represented by capital V is equal to V1 by V0 into 100, which is equal to P1 into Q1 divided by P0 into Q0 multiplied by 100. And this completes the first session. Now, look at this assignment given. Together, there are 9 questions given. The first question, define index number. Second question, why index numbers are called economic barometers. Third, what is meant by simple index number? What is meant by composite index number? Define base year and current year. Define price relative. Define quantity relative. Define value relative. And the last question, write the formula of price relative, quantity relative, and value relative. You can find answer for all these questions from this first session, answer them, and be prepared for the second session. Hope you enjoyed while learning. Thank you.